Hey everyone, Andre here, and Sakurai just appeared on the show Harada's Bar, hosted by, as you might have guessed, Katsuhiro Harada of Bandai Namco, and they had a nice casual chat that covered a range of topics in the first towards a multi-part series, and we're going to cover all the highlights so far right here. But you can find a link to the full discussion, which even has subtitles, in the description below. The discussion began, appropriately enough, on the topic that there's a perception that Sakurai really doesn't make all the many media appearances, especially those of a more casual nature like Harada's Bar. Sakurai noted that he's just not the type to make a lot of media appearances, and for that reason he sometimes declines interviews. He also mentioned that he avoids talking or promoting other games because that can lead people to believe that character from that game is coming to Smash Bros. Obviously. Speaking of Smash Bros., Sakurai noted that the reason Sakurai presents in his current form with Sakurai showing off new characters himself is at least partially a result of budget constraints, as he stated that Nintendo simply doesn't make video programs just for DLC, meaning they're not looking to put a lot of money into them. Sakurai also briefly touched on what it's like to work with various companies on incorporating their characters into Super Smash Bros., and he noted that every company's oversight of the process is unique. He said some companies are strict about character modeling, but not necessarily about other things. Now, when Harada himself noted that he felt Bandai Namco was pretty laid back on the inclusion of Kazuya, Sakurai immediately shot him down by saying, "I wouldn't say that." Did you know that Sakurai doesn't drink water? Apparently, even a half glass makes him feel sick, so he drinks Coke Zero instead. Which is basically how I used to live my life too. It's apparently so well known inside Nintendo that the company even has a glass of Coke Zero waiting for him whenever he needs to film something, like say Sakurai Presents. If you've been on the internet at all, then you've probably seen your fair share of Sakurai memes, and apparently Sakurai isn't a big fan of them. He says, "I want them to stop using my face or icon to say what they want to say." He continued, "You shouldn't use other people's power for your own principles. Hear that, Sakurai meme creators? You're making him feel bad, so stop it." Did you know that horror games don't scare Sakurai? He noted that's probably because, as a game developer, he can only think about the systems and all the work that went into them. As one example, he said that if there's a scene where a bunch of cockroaches swarm a human, he'd only think about the months of work a modeler spent on the scene, and that's why he doesn't get scared. At some point, Harada brought up the fact that Sakurai essentially has a mysterious aura surrounding him, to which Sakurai noted that he probably should have the X-Files theme playing wherever he goes.
いや、だからこの業界にいるといろんな方の
You know, I really shouldn't be surprised that Sakurai apparently is an X-Files fan, because he's got great taste across the board. And there you have it, everyone. That's everything that stuck out to me from the Harada's Bar episode featuring Sakurai. But of course, you can find the link to part 1 of the interview in the description below for even more. Stay tuned next Saturday for part 2, and we'll still discuss, presumably, far more. So with that, thanks for watching, and of course stay tuned to GameXplain for tons more on Sakurai, Smash Bros, and everything else Nintendo Switch. We'll catch you later. Bye everyone!